Today we are going to look at the insane 2-minute 10-second preparation solve that Hill Pong got at his house. The memo has started. He has an insane 41-second memo in this solve, and it's the fastest ever solve on camera on YouTube. The previous best, official best, was I think 315 that 215 that he uploaded, and the official world record is 221. He's one passing the memo, and now he's just memorizing the X centers, and now he's on to the plus centers. He memorizes the plus centers in about 10 seconds. The entire memo takes 41 seconds, which means he's doing sub 1 second per letter pair. He's executing the plus centers. Look at his execution speed, it must be around 5 TPS. A really good form factor. Both the fingers are being used. Using rotations in centers is good because you do want good commutators which are fast to execute. 5BLD is a very difficult event in terms of getting good accuracy as well as executing comms fast. Hill is also YO, which is yellow top, orange front, and he's just finished his X center execution. Seamless a bit of a pause, a 2-second pause before going into midges. I do understand this pause because the centers are in the short-term memory, whereas the wings, midges and the corner memo is in a row, so there can be a slight pause as we are changing the recall from short-term to long-term. Really good calm execution of wings as well. As you can see, there is no parity, which means he doesn't have to do a weak swap of the wings. You get to know if there is a midge or wing parity. You get to know about corner parity by tracing out the corners, but you get to know about the wing parity if you trace out the wings. He's finally left with 3 corners and he completes the cube. 2 minutes 10 seconds. Now let's look again the solve at half the speed. As you can see, the plus centers are being executed one after the another. There are a huge possibility of doing cancellations in plus centers, and this is something which is quite advanced, which Stanley even told in his latest video that he tries to cancel moves in X center execution and also his U layer neutral in his buffers. Actually getting U layer neutral and floating in centers is a bit dicey kind of decision because it does take a bit of brain power. On the other hand, it doesn't lead to a faster execution, so it's always good to keep it simple and move ahead. A bit of a pause and a slower TPS during X centers, but overall a flawless solve because considering that this is big BLD and he had only 40 seconds to one pass the memo and seamlessly retrieve it. Before this solve, he got a really fast DNF, which was off by 2 plus centers. Doing 5LD at this speeds is a completely different ball game. 43 letter pairs on average means about 4 to 5 cubes worth of memo. Not 5 cubes, 4 cubes worth of memo. A bit less than 4 cubes worth of memo. And doing 4 cubes memo in 40 seconds is acceptable, but doing 5BLD tracing plus 4 cubes worth of memo in 40 seconds is actually insane, and we have to know the magnitude of how good this solve is. The midges are one of the worst pieces to solve because you can't do all the fancy things in 3 blind, as you have to be center safe. You don't have to mess up the T centers, and also it's tough to finger trick S and E slice. Wings are super complex to execute, and there is a lot of optimization which is possible in wings, and wings personally it's very tough to hold the memo sometimes, and it's also tough to find good algs, but at the start at an elite level you do have good algs. And as you can see in this solve, the solve is rotationless, and each com has been drilled well. If you can see Hill Pong, he doesn't maintain an arc sheet, but all his comms are well drilled. Now finally onto the corner execution, he is using UFR buffer or UFL buffer, no UFR buffer and RUD elks. Finally finishes. Thank